Hey, so we're going to break the class up into. Hey, is everybody ready? We good? I think we have a class I've been looking forward to. So we'll just start right there. So we're going to break it up into two different parts today. The first part, we're just going to talk for a little bit. I'm going to have a conversation with your classmate here, who I'm going to ask her to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm a fourth year majoring in global and international studies, and I'm from Michigan.
From Michigan? Where in Michigan?
Novi, Michigan. It's like 35 minutes outside of Detroit, so if you're looking at like the hand, it's like the lower part, near the thumb, kind of.
Wait, what's the town?
Novi.
Novi, huh. I'm from Toledo, so right south. Okay. So I want to return to this graph from last week, or from last Tuesday. I was going to do a whole class on this and then just continue this conversation, but then, I don't know, just sometimes it's overkill, so I thought that y'all would get tired of it. But I'm hoping that people left thinking about this, because this is it's pretty big. I mean, I think what we got to was that close to half, as best that I can assess, could be considered the top 1% in the world's population of the whole class, and all but really a small portion, maybe like 90%, would be in the top 10% or top 11 or 12%, the wealthiest. So Jordan, okay, so you would probably be in the top 1%, right? Okay. I mean, not you yourself per se, but in your family, which means you. So you've had a couple of days to think about it. What are you thinking? What have you thought?
I actually was just talking about the last class with some of my friends and my parents, because I think about it a lot, probably more than the average person thinks about it. Mm-hmm. Because in Michigan, like the county that I'm from is like just a wealthy county in general, but then you live like 30 minutes outside of like nearby Detroit, and that can like is the other side of the scale. Mm-hmm. So I think that I probably think about it more.
Right, just given your propinquity, your nearness to. And what do you think about? Like, what have you been thinking about?
Just thinking about, like, I usually think about it on like a smaller scale, but like in the last class talking about like how much money the US has in general, and then also like the graph about like just the global economy, like I never really think about it in such a wide scale. I'm usually thinking about it like domestically or in my relation to other people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think most of us don't, right? Our minds, our connections go to the people that are immediately around us, right? That's who we're going to compare ourselves. Like you're going to compare yourself to the people at Penn State when you arrive here on your dorm floor, not even in another dorm somewhere. I mean, it's just going to be people right around you who you know, and that's what we do. But, like for me, because I'm in the same position, like I'm now, when I was your age I wasn't, but now I'm definitely in that 1%. So, if we think about like this group of people right here is about 100 people. Assume it is. It's actually a little more, but assume it is. It's like, you and I are like the one person in this whole group that stands out, and everybody else is below us in terms of wealth. And like, to me, it's just mind blowing. To imagine that that's my position in the world. Yeah. What do you think people don't understand about people like in your position, let's say?
I think for me specifically, I think a lot of people assume that it's like, well, I guess it is handed to me because of my parents, but like my dad, for example, like he grew up in Detroit, like single mom, like no money, and now he has a bunch of degrees, and so like in that case, it's like a work your way up kind of instance. So I think a lot of people assume that it's kind of handed down, and especially like my father is a black man, so it also was like another struggle on top of that to even get to the 1%. So I think that's misconceptions I think a lot of people have.
Yeah, like that you don't work it, right? Or that if you do work hard, you get lucky. I mean, a large part of me having the wealth that I have is because my wife and I lived for years as though we were poor graduate students, and we just kept. We didn't make a lot of money for a long time, but we just put like 70% of it away, and we lived on rice and beans. Like we lived in a real, like we were graduate students, and that was fine for us. It wasn't a problem, but we sacrificed a lot. Like we bought our first new car a year ago. I'm 64 years old. I never bought a new car. It's like, damn, man. You know. And Irvin got our old one. Hey, what do you think is anyway, and I'm saying that to you by nature, like people would look and imagine, just like with you and your parents and your dad and stuff, that like somehow they just got that and they didn't work at it. Hey, what is black culture like for the wealthy? Because, hang on, I'm going to help you here a little bit. Because people in this country anyway, we think there is this association with black, and I'm always trying to get around this because I think it really gets in the way, but the conversation around the black community in the United States is black people are deprived and et cetera, right? But a lot of black people are rich. So what do you see?
I think what I like to call it is like the black experience. Like I think a lot of people like have the black experience as synonymous with, like you said, like urban, like destitute, uneducated, kind of like all of these terms that we probably see mostly in the media. But I think that there are a lot of other black experiences that are wealthy, and they're not just like athletes that just have exceptional talent, and so of course they're gonna be wealthy. Like people, immediately run to like LeBron James or Oprah for like an example of black wealth, but those are like extreme cases of entertainment or just athleticism and talent, as opposed to people that are just in the regular working. They're working, or they have an education, or they're a doctor or something like that. So I think there's a lot of stigma as terms of what being black means in the United States, as opposed to that there is a spectrum.
Yeah, the average. Yeah, I mean, I'm always saying half of all black Americans are in the middle class. It's just the tilting one way or the other. So how is that? Do you feel like you're fighting that stigma all the time, or do you, like in your head, do you fight it, or are you just living your life?
I would say that I'm living my life, but I'm also fighting it. Like I think we talked about it, I don't even know how many classes ago, about the like being white or trying to portray yourself as white. So like the neighborhood I grew up in is very suburban and mostly like white or Asian American, and so the idea that because you go there, or because you have certain hobbies or whatever, that you're attempting to portray yourself as white or assimilate to white community, as opposed to just living in the area that you live in, going to the school that you go to.
So you get judged for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the battle that I'm fighting, that just because I'm from a suburban area doesn't mean I'm trying to assimilate or be something that I'm not. It's just like kind of, especially like my parents put me there. So
well, listen, no, what you're living in your class, like your social class strata. That's what it is, and that's what people do. So it doesn't. Yeah, you can't get around that. And yet your dad, like when he drives, when he's driving, I mean, there are places that he goes. He's just a black guy. You know, some people aren't going to see that. Nah, he's not, man. He's the 1%. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, this guy right here, he's in the 1%, you know, and your mom, you know. Cool. Does your family talk about class a lot, by the way? Social class?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Like I said, like my dad is from like the inner city, like Detroit
Yeah.
area, so we talk about it a lot because family still lives like, you know, in Detroit. So I think it's a constant conversation, and just like my parents are also navigating like the corporate world for the first time. So, you know, as things come up for them, they're also, you know, discussing it.
Yeah. Have you learned to like downplay your
Yeah, for sure.
Like
sure.
you're not like putting it out there for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you learn that. That's like that's a thing that like a lot of people with new wealth, they will try to show their new wealth, but usually people with real money know that people who are trying to show that they have money don't have money, you know. But that's, you know, you're not on the extreme end, but nonetheless, right? You learn that to kind of downplay. Yeah, that's interesting. Any final thoughts about any final thoughts about how you will carry this knowledge with you, that you're that 1 in 100? Like, you travel all over the world. I mean, you're going to meet lots of wealthy people all over the world, but you're going to meet just so many people who just they couldn't afford your boots, man. You know what I mean? Do you have any sense of like how you'll carry this?
I think that, especially like you talked about the not portraying it, I think a lot of people try to ignore it or act like they're not a part of some of the issues that come with being in the top 10%.
Yep.
Because especially like if you're a wealthy person of color, then you're like, okay, well, you know, I'm a minority, so I kind of, you know, deserve to, you know, act a certain way or portray myself a certain way. But I think recognizing that by being in the 10%, you are contributing to some of
you are.
the issues, even if you don't think that you are.
Yeah, yeah. Because even when I look at these 100 people, we take a sample from around the world, the clear vast majority of them are black and brown people in the world, right? So it's like they're all so-called minorities also. So it's like you don't really get a free pass there. Huh. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome, man. No, I felt like it would be really good just to kind of come back to this, and I just stumbled upon you in the volunteer list, and I said, hey, let's do this. So thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Jordan. All right. Okay, peeps, let's go. Yeah, right there. Okay. Let's start. We're going to start with you. Why don't you introduce yourself? So you two share this mic, and you two share that mic.
Do I just?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. My name's Yuritsa. I'm a third year majoring in rehabilitation human services. I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Allentown?
Yeah.
And your family's Dominican?
Dominican.
Yeah. Do your parents call you Yuritsa?
Yeah, Yurisa.
Yurisa. But you say Yuritsa because people just say Yuritsa.
Yeah, Yuritsa.
All right. That's just a shout out, Julie, just so you know I'm paying attention. All right.
Hello. My name is Michael. I'm a second year, and I'm studying chemical engineering, and I'm from outside of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Hi everyone, my name is Purvit. I'm a freshman studying, I'm pre-med, and I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi, I'm Khan. I'm a junior in electrical engineering, and I'm from Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong. Bro, is Khan the name on your birth certificate?
Yeah.
Khan? Uh-huh. All right. So from Hong Kong, meaning that I know you've spent your time in lots of different places, so.
Yeah, I lived in Hong Kong until I was 18, from when I was around 6. Yeah, my mom's Taiwanese.
Uh-huh, okay. Irvin, you ever meet anyone from Hong Kong? All right, okay. All right, so listen. The title of today's class is Everyone is Welcome, okay? And Jordan, you may have something at some point to contribute to this. All right, so feel free. Well, this came about, first off, go to the next slide. So you see these banners around campus a fair amount, right? Maybe they're not around anymore. You belong here. And for a while there were different campaigns. It was, be like international students. You belong here. And so-and-so, all different things, right? So, and then this one you have, and if you don't know, UPUA is the undergraduate student government here at Penn State. Okay, then the other day, next slide. The other day, I was going into the fitness center at Rec Hall, and this popped up on the screen. So I pulled my phone out and took a photo of it. And you see all the different shades of skin, the figure there in a wheelchair, the rainbow heart. It's everyone is welcome at Campus Rec, okay? And I said to myself, self? I said, what does that mean? And everyone's just passing by, like no one's paying attention to it. I was the only one that seemed to be paying attention to it, and I thought, how do students think about this? Like, what are you thinking about? And so I said, let's do a class on this. So that's the only slide. I have another slide, but probably it's just going to be this, and I just want to have a conversation about it. So here's my first question, right? Does the sign, if you are walking past into the rec hall to work out, and you see that sign, do you feel more welcome? Does it help you to feel welcome? First off, welcome where? I'm not sure. Oh, I guess at rec hall. So anybody can take it.
I don't think it makes me feel less welcome.
It doesn't make you feel less welcome.
It just doesn't make me feel anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent to it, but I acknowledge the fact that the sign's probably there because some people do feel more welcome about it. So I think it serves that purpose.
But
you
think
for me
that
personally,
some people feel the sign makes them feel more welcome.
Right, because I'm sure there's students at Penn State that don't feel welcome. So this sign does cater to them, and if that's the purpose to make more people feel welcome, I think it serves that.
Uh-huh. Michael, when you see the sign, are you really quick to? Yeah. How about you?
It's nice, I guess. That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the sign's doing, to be honest.
Yeah, but it seems nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's not mean. I mean, they
No.
can put a sign up that says there are any number of things. But as someone who's gay, I mean, you're gay,
Yeah.
right? I didn't just out Michael. Okay. Do you see immediately the flag, like the colors, the rainbow?
Yeah, I see the rainbow and the everyone part for the first part,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
So is there?
It's fine.
It's fine, but
yeah.
Just fine.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not. By the way, you need to know. It's important that you all know. I don't have any. I don't know. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not trying to lead somewhere. I'm not trying to make a point. I'm not trying to make a statement. I'm just really curious because I see the people. We all see these kinds of messages often, and there's so many people, especially people who are in majority groups, So you could also respond as a white guy, and majority who just we don't even pay attention. They don't even notice it. I notice it because I teach this class, Okay, so it's the same thing, right? Yuritsa, how about?
I also notice it, but I don't think it does something in my brain like, oh, now I'm welcome because I see the sign. It's just like, oh, okay.
So if the sign wasn't there, nothing would change for you.
Yeah, no.
But it's kind of nice when I'm walking down the street and I see graffiti, for example, and I see a big heart, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Better than seeing, I don't know, something else that's less appealing. But it's a heart. A heart's a nice thing, so this is a nice thing. But yet, there's a message, right? So what I'm hearing from the four of you, and mind you, because this is an exploration class, and by the way, anybody, if you have a question or you want to chime in on it, you can feel free to do that, because this is we're just doing a complete exploration here, right? So what I'm hearing is that it doesn't make you feel welcome. It doesn't make you not feel welcome. You don't not feel welcome, but it doesn't contribute anything to you saying really like, oh, shit. Like, oh, now I'm going to go to campus rec. And when I walk in and start, pumping the iron, like I walk in the room and I'm like, damn, I'm welcome here. It's like, so that's not happening. Why is it there? Why do you think the sign is there?
Me personally, I think it's there to make a statement and to ensure that, I don't know, everyone knows that University Park is inclusive and yeah.
So wait, so you think it's there to make a statement? Who's making the statement?
The college.
What? The university. Why? Why are they making a statement? Like, what's your gut feelings? Like, what are they? And who are they making a statement to, really?
The students.
Okay, but you've already said, the four of you, if you represent the average student, and I suspect that you do, your statement back to the university is like, yeah, it's nice, the hearts are nice, but it doesn't, okay. It's not, they didn't pay anything for this, right? So it's not like a poster that they had to pay for or something, someone put the graphic together, but, okay, so it's to make a statement. Anybody else, what's the...
Yeah, I'd say to the point where you say we're the average student, I think maybe there's some sort of selection thing, because we did all volunteer to come up here, and somewhat you need to be outspoken, and if someone really doesn't feel like they belong, I don't think they'd be willing to do that. But I'm sure there is maybe percentage-wise it's not that much, but even if there's 1,000 out of, let's say, 40,000 here that are feeling like they don't belong and have some sort of depression or something like that, I think this would help them a lot if they kind of see this constantly, that there is a group of people that think that they belong. So maybe not for us, but there's a group out there. Okay,
so the belonging, but let's focus on here for a second. That's a really cool comment. I don't want to come back to it, but the statement is going to ethnicity and race and gender. It's not to mental health. So that's a whole different thing, where people are really saying to people who maybe are feeling alienated, feeling depressed, feeling like, oh man, I'm not sure I belong here. I miss home, I miss my family, I miss everything. That's a different story. This is really about selecting out people who are in minoritized status and saying yep, you people. And white people too, but white people aren't going to look at those two hearts in the far left. Dude, hang on. Let's find out. Are there any white people, by a show of hands? Can you all can everyone really promise me you'll do this, okay? Just by a show of hands, are there any white people in the class who, when you look at that sign, your first thought is that includes me? I'm included in that sign. Is there anybody? One dude. Dude, you maybe, but the sign doesn't include you. All right, bro. No, you're good. Okay, one. You maybe half? Yeah? Anybody else? Really? Couple people? Okay? Wait, dude, hang on. Wait, hang on. Are you gay? Say again? Are you gay? No. All right, okay, all right. Well, I mean, maybe are you disabled? It's really it's the hearts on the far left.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Okay, but the point being, just as an average white person, you're like, yeah, no, I'm included in that. Okay.
I did check.
Yeah, all right. All right, okay. All right. Huh.
I also want to ask you guys something as well. What do you guys think about having to be reassured that you belong here? As in being told that you belong here? Because otherwise you would have been fine. But the fact that you have to be told to feel belonged, what do you feel about that? And how do you think some people might react to that?
Or that somebody feels like they have to tell you. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like probably what I was going to talk about. Just like reminding that like, oh yeah, I'm like kind of probably different than most of the people around me. And you don't really like think about that just like walking around. Well, at least I don't. But like once you like bring it up again, it's like, oh wait, yeah, I should probably like be worrying about this, if that makes any sense.
Oh, no. Listen, no, go into that. I should probably be worrying about this. I should probably be thinking about this. But thinking about it, but you use the word worrying, so I don't want to just hold you to the fire on that. But that's an idea. It's like, oh, wait. Hey, don't forget you're a minority. Bad things, some people don't like you and bad things can happen to you.
Yeah. Well, that's like another thing about the sign too. It's like people who do come to Penn State and they're probably like worried about, like if they're like a minority coming here, they can see the sign and be like, if that is something they constantly worry about, be like, oh, okay, this place is like a safe space. If they do come from a space that they always have to be concerned about it. So there is a good part to that too.
Okay, well, how about okay, then let's go to the three of you as three people of color. And this is going to also with G's question, but
Right, and also like before the signs changed, it was even more sanctioned, as in like it had things like, oh, Asians, you belong here. Black people, you belong here.
Yeah.
They changed those signs a couple of years ago, but it used to be even more separated. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I mean, I thought about it, but when I first see the sign, I don't like immediately go, like this is kind of making it feel like I'm different. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't pop into my head immediately, but after I think about it, like what he was saying, like basically, yeah, I eventually get to that conclusion. Oh, I guess I'm like different somehow or something like that.
And that maybe somehow I don't belong here. Like
kind of. I think belonging isn't. I guess like something that I wanted to mention was that like the sign is kind of like, it just feels like corporate, like no soul. You know what I mean? Like it's just the college talking. And to be honest, if I want to feel belong to a place, it's the people that I personally interact with.
Yeah.
And so the sign really doesn't do anything. It's just about like my classmates or my professors or something like that. So
so if you want to feel welcome, it's not. That's
that doesn't do anything. So it, like at the same time, because it doesn't do anything, it also doesn't really make me feel like I don't belong, since it never really had an impact on that feeling to begin with. You know?
And what do you think about the idea though? And Purvit, maybe you can say more about this in Eureka. I'm gonna constantly say Eureka. No, I'm gonna say it again. This idea that, in a way, kind of like what G is saying is, it's kind of making a statement that says, oh, people feel a need to tell you that you belong, which is reminding you indirectly that there are people who don't think you belong, or that you maybe should be thinking that you don't belong, that you're not welcome here. You know what I mean? Like, there are lots of people who look like you, like that whole spectrum right there. Again, it's everybody, but it's pretty clear this is not aimed at white people, man. Like, this is not. You're not gonna. We're not. There are signs that are like, hey, welcome to Penn State, everybody. You all belong here. That's fine, but that's not this. That's a different story. So, yeah, it's like somehow it's a reminder that you're not like.
I mean, I don't take it that way, but I know there's like a narrative. I would say, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not saying anything about that, but there's a narrative like minorities are sometimes, either discriminated against or something like that. So if someone does feel that way, I think it could help them. But I'm not sure how many people that is. And me personally, like, no, I don't think this makes me feel more belonged. And I get what you're saying. Like, maybe it brings up like the question whether should there be a reason why I'm thinking I'm not like belonging here. But I recognize why the sign's up there. It's not, I don't think it's really prompting that question for me. So.
Yeah, no, I like that response. I think, Yurisa, how about you? Like, you're from Allentown, so there are a lot of Latinos in Allentown.
A lot of Dominicans.
A lot of a ton of Dominicans, yeah. So back home, you can speak Spanish all the time, and you just, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes, like, going off of what he was saying, it makes me think of, like, who are the people behind making this sign and putting it in Rec Hall, and, like, what's the motive? Like, what are you trying to, like, is your actual motive to make me feel welcome, or, like, are you just, like, dang. Like, is there ulterior motives to just making everyone feel welcome, or is it just, like, a political statement, if that makes sense?
Because you think you should.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's based off of what I feel and how the university makes me feel, not just off of what they say that I should feel.
Well, a lot of this seems to be like that, right? This is what people are talking about is the DEIB, because this is about the B, the belonging part, and the woke culture. To say like we're kind of constantly we're going to put these messages out there constantly, just to kind of drill it home to all of us. Do you feel that? Like when you hear, you kind of see that wokeness thing. It's like, hey man, hey, oh, it's good, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if there's no like actual action behind words or like signs like this, then like, are you really woke, or are you really making it a safe space for everybody?
Well, the action would be that we're going to treat everybody the same. So it's like, yeah, there's the action. And treating everybody the same, people would argue, is don't have a sign like this. Because if I don't have it, look, here, if you all of you look out in the classroom, you got students here from all over the world, from all different backgrounds, body shapes, sizes, whatever, right? DNA admixtures everywhere. They're all just Social 19 students, everybody. They're all here. They're all that. And so if we don't start picking people out and singling people out, then they're just Social 19 students. So it's like, okay. But the moment I start saying, you're Dominican. Oh, okay, now I've isolated you, right? And now I've separated you in some way just by doing that. Which is the good. There's a good part of that, and there's a not so good part of it. What's the good? Well, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the good part is like identifying that there are people with differences and stuff. But then the bad part is like, at that point, you're just singling me out and like kind of making me feel a little bit isolated. Like, oh, yeah, I'm identifying that you're different, but like now like I'm separated from my peers because of this one thing that you pointed out.
Right. Like when I go into the weight room and start working out, when you go in the weight room and start working out, you're no longer the Penn State student. You're the Penn State student whose ancestry is from the República Dominicana, right? And so it's like, wait, I just want to be a Penn State student, right? And you're going to be reminded that you're gay. It's like, I don't want to be gay right now. I just want to be Michael, I just want to go in and work out. Like, stop. You don't need to remind me that I'm gay. Like, that's all right. Like, that's not a big deal. But in a way, the sign is reminding you of that. So how is that? I mean, how is it? Yeah, I mean, it's this reminder thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm asking, bro. But
I also don't know what you're asking.
Yeah. But it just seems kind of odd, right?
Yes.
It's like, here's my gay friend Michael. Like,
yeah.
here's my gay neighbor, Michael. Like, yeah, have you met gay Michael? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, stop. This, like, is Michael, you know what I mean? So that gets tiring, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
it gets very tiring, yeah.
That's probably a reason why a lot of people don't come out.
For sure,
Yeah,
100%,
I'll
yeah.
just stay in the closet because
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, because,
nonsense.
like, it shouldn't matter, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
No.
And yet, at the same time, it could matter. How much does it matter that Penn State has... You ever go to the LGBTQ center?
No, I haven't.
Look, so you never have. So
No.
that doesn't matter for you at all.
No. Well, I guess it does matter for me because I know like some people who like are queer and they come to Penn State and they come from places that are very like, you know, homophobic, and they like probably walked around with like the threat of violence like wherever they went, and coming here is definitely like that center is definitely very like good for them. So it matters to me like in that way, if that makes sense.
Yep, but you don't, for you don't go, but it's good that it's there for
Yes.
other people.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the sign then, right? So that the rainbow part of it, maybe for you, it's just like, you know, whatever. But for somebody else, it could be like, oh, here's another example of this institution called Penn State saying like, hey, we're gay friendly, like we're cool.
Yeah, but I feel like also that organization is like actually like doing something, you know? It's actually like a place where people can go, and the sign's just like, here's something to think about, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, here's something. Here's, if you are struggling in some way with coming out, with talking about it, hey, with your family, there are 1,001 things you could be struggling with. Hey, here's a center on campus where you can come and you can have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah.
I'm also bisexual, so I definitely have been to the center of LGBTQ plus in the hub, and they're like really helpful. The director, like, she's very open to like talking and like helping you through like whatever you're going through, and I definitely appreciate that center. It's definitely there for me when I was going through like struggles.
Mm-hmm. And so a sign like this is just then one other little tiny marker here on campus that says, hey, you're good. We got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got your back. I got you. So there's the good side of it. You know, that it's like we're not going to make this the only identifying feature, you know, of everything that you are. Yeah. Hey, okay, so we've decided, I have a couple questions here. It's not, do you all agree that it's not directed at white people? Like when you see a sign, do you see it as a white man or, yeah, okay. It's not directed at white people. Yeah, okay. Why do you think it looks like it could be. Why do you think they put the white tones up there? Prove it.
I mean, maybe they don't want to like discriminate by race, and by not putting the white up there, and if that's symbolizing races and skin colors, then it would be against that. Maybe some sort of law thing. I'm not too sure, but that's something direction they don't want to go towards. So they put the white part there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, people will get mad. So
Someone will be offended. Yeah. Even though it's clear that it's not, but someone would be offended by it. Con, hang on, man. I have a question for you. Bro, what's it like growing up in Hong Kong? That's my question for you.
It's cool, you know.
Dude,
I love
cool?
cities, so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like Asia. I mean, I love public transport, so I was sick. I still don't know how to drive, so, you know.
Yeah, you have no reason to learn if you're in Hong Kong.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was good and bad. I guess since I look, so in Hong Kong, I'm just seen as white. They don't like recognize me as Asian or something.
Yeah, because you're, but genetically, you're really mixed.
Yeah, I'm just 50% Asian, like literally.
Yeah.
But so like there's to some like this kind of relates to the belonging thing. Like I've talked to friends in Hong Kong that are also white, or maybe they're full white or whatever, and we all seem to agree that there's like this strong sense of xenophobia there because it's so racially like homogenous. It's like all Asian people. Like I don't think people know this. Like if you go to like China, there's like no black people. It's like no white people unless you go to like certain areas that only expats live in.
Yeah.
And so like even though that is where I call home, people don't recognize me as a local like ever. And I can speak Cantonese fine. You know, it still doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, you're seen as some kind of outsider.
Yeah. So it's actually like, it's funny because in Hong Kong, like I feel like even though it is my home, it literally feels less like home than here because people here just see me as white and they're like, or even if I'm mixed, it's like America's kind of diverse, so it's like fine. You know, oh, you're mixed, you're still American. But in Hong Kong, I'm never like a Hong Konger. I'm always just like a white guy.
And you have an American accent speaking English.
Yeah. But I mean like my Cantonese is like basically fluent and there's like no accent whatsoever. They still don't care. It doesn't matter. There's literally nothing you can do.
Like
it's just what you look like. And to be honest, I get it, you know, because they see so little white people there that it's just like immediately they see you and it's like something else.
So are there signs like this in Hong Kong?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you really don't see it anywhere in the world, actually. I don't.
Well, I think that's because America's so diverse, as I was saying. You know, it's like, I don't know. I think that's a cool thing.
Well, you see it in the UK. There were some places you see this, but you really do. I've seen them in France. I've seen them in the UK. This kind of thing, but also we're on the cutting edge of. You talk about xenophobia in Hong Kong, right? We're the United States. We're sort of really on the cutting edge of this diversity stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I'll talk to like my Asian side of the family, and they're always like, "Oh, aren't Americans like super racist or something?" And it's like, you're definitely more racist than the average American because they just don't get it. You know, since there's so many like different people of different races living in America. That kind of thing will end up being highlighted no matter what. Yeah, and that kind of thing just doesn't show up in Asia because it's like there are no different they're all the same race. Of course there's no racism.
Right. It's going to be nobody's going to see it as racism.
Yeah, because they're just like in Hong Kong they're really racist against like Southeast Asian people. So so they hate like so there are a lot of like Indians or Indonesians who come over as like they are maids or something, and they're just terribly discriminated against. They have like slurs and shit. Nobody really cares. They just use it like it's whatever.
Yeah, use it just like in everyday
language.
That's
that's just how you call them. That's just what they are, you know.
Yeah.
There's two people and also I want to ask.
Okay. Huh. Bro, you don't spend time in India, right?
So no, I don't spend time. I go there every few years for around a month-ish. I was born there, but then I moved to the U.S. when I was like 10 months old. So no, I don't spend time.
So when you go back, you don't notice this kind of thing yourself.
I mean, India is pretty homogenous as well. There's not many other races there.
But there's a lot of ethnic groups. But
sure, yeah. But I think so. I'm from Gujarat, so when I go there, I can't really recognize. I'm not really accustomed to the place either, so I can't really tell like the ethnic groups, the differences there.
Yeah, I got you. So you wouldn't like all those subtle differences. I mean, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't pick those out.
Yeah, right.
Without living there. Bro, do you have a question?
I just wanted to flip the script for a bit and ask you guys. So, Penn State is very white area, and if we were to say 99% of the people are white here, and you're the only colored person. Would you feel uncomfortable if none of those signs were present at all? So if these kind of signs did not exist and you're the only person who's colored in a environment of which everyone else is different from you.
Yeah, I can start off. I don't think I'd feel any different. I think honestly, the less it's these type of issues are just brought up to the forefront, the better. The other questions you're asking, I recognize some people do feel better about it, but I think. In the long run, I think on the net, like not acknowledging it, just acknowledging everyone as like a human, other than like categorizing by race. I think it's the best way to do it. So personally, no, I wouldn't. If these signs were in there, I wouldn't feel any differently.
So in other words, that you do understand that the people who are against DE and I and B, right? What you just said right there is what they say. It's like we need to stop talking about this stuff. It's like just stop talking about it. Like don't worry about it. Get on with it. Yeah.
I was gonna say that if I was the only person who was not white in this school, I'd probably prefer it if there was no sign at all, because then it would be like I would feel like I'm being singled out, like literally being pointed out, and I just like at that point, since I'm the only one, I just want to be left alone. You know what I mean? I just want to pretend like I'm not whatever.
Yeah. We just got this kind of. Well, this is kind of what you're all saying here in a way. Jordan, did you say a similar thing? About being like, do you like? I mean, I singled you out earlier about being wealthy, being in the 1%, but as a black woman, are you like, yeah, no, how's this sign for you? I mean, you're light skinned, so you're like you're in the middle
I'm like
there.
Closer to, But I kind of agree. I wouldn't say that I feel more welcome. I probably honestly would walk past it and not look at it or not notice it or not see it. And like if I was the only minority, I probably also wouldn't feel any better. Like kind of what Khan was saying about like it's the people that make you feel that way. Like you could put a million signs up, but if you're experiencing severe discrimination or just like being treated terribly, that sign doesn't make me feel any better.
Got you. Yeah. Huh. Well, that's an interesting. You know, by the way, on this issue, can I just throw? Can you go to the Nish? Can you go to the next slide? So they did this survey of college students, just asking how often they felt discriminated against at your college or the university, and obviously the different universities, different colleges, etc. But 14% of black undergrad students said frequently or occasionally, which means that 86% said in their college career, right, once or twice or never. 86%. And so, the headline on this, when this hit the news, the headline was that because they added the once or twice in, and the once or twice is about 7%. Okay? Now, the headline was 1/5 of black college students experienced discrimination at their university. And I was thinking, Brett, do you ever thought about that? You're
it just seems like kind of an exaggeration,
Well,
because like once or twice, like that doesn't. I don't know if that really counts, right? I mean, it counts, but it's like you were in college for 4 years. You know what I mean? And you had like
4
one
years
or two
of interactions.
Yeah, and you had 1 or 2 bad experiences, and even like, I don't know, even if it just doesn't seem like it's that much. I guess if you said like 80-something% of black people don't feel discriminated against in college, I'd be like, wow, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean they're not, right?
Right. I'm just saying, like, yeah.
No. It doesn't mean there are all sorts of. Listen, by the way, you as a Latino woman, right? You two guys as Asian guys, and you as as a gay guy. You're a white guy, but you're the gay part of you, right? All of you can experience discrimination and not know about it and not feel it. You don't know. You're not going to have any idea. You're not going to know. So the idea that it's still 14% are saying frequently or occasionally, it's still like, well, that doesn't mean that they even recognize it. But nonetheless, the headline could be, hey, man, like 4 out of 5, because think about the message here in the U.S. that we're talking about this stuff a lot. And it matters. One act of discrimination matters. It's going to matter to you, right? If you're discriminated against one time at Penn State because you're Dominican, it could be really serious, and that could really have an impact on you. And like, God damn, man, like really affect your experience here at this university. So it's not downplaying that but it still seems to me that like, wow. And I'm saying this as a white guy, right? but I'm saying this also as a person who's trying to think of it in the long term. It's like, wow, what if we were to say, damn, 86% of black college students they never or just very rarely, only a couple of times have ever experienced discrimination. It's like, shit.
Yeah, but I think if you ask like other race groups as well, like even if you did the same poll with maybe white students as well, I mean, I think you would get like maybe similar. I mean, there'd still be discrimination. I think it's just unfortunate, like the kind of the place that we live in. I mean, people do have underlying thoughts about certain races and stuff.
Yeah, underlying thoughts,
right.
but we're talking about things that really have. Here, well, hang on. Let me ask this. There's probably about 70 Muslims in the room. Okay. Probably 70. So Muslims. So, are you ready? So here's what I want you to do. How many of you? So we're not going to define what this is, but I'm just going to. You can define it any way you want. How many of you in your time here at Penn State? You ready? Watch this. How many times in your time here at Penn State have you experienced Islamophobia? Here at Penn State. There's about 70 of you in here. That I know. How many times? Just raise your hand. Islamophobia. Wait, nobody? Come on. Nobody? Wait, how many times have you okay, hang on. Let me define Islamophobia. Someone making a disparaging, right? A negative comment about being Muslim. And you heard them. One. Yeah, but you're Iranian. That's different. Is it because of Iran or being Muslim? Oh, both. All right. Okay, one. But wait. All right, one person. That's it? Huh. Bro, can you comment on that? So we talk about Islamophobia a lot, right? You're not Muslim, right? You're Hindu?
No, I'm not.
Or you're nothing? Yeah. Okay. What do you think about that? Think about how many times have you heard people talking about Islamophobia?
A lot, yeah.
Okay, there's about everywhere. 70 Muslims in here. No one raised their hand. One person.
Yeah, I'm glad that, people don't face discrimination. That's something I'm happy about.
Okay.
And I realize like headlines on the news and stuff are like exaggerated. I mean, the entire way the news works is you want people to see it. If there's a headline that's more like energetic and gets people more emotional, I guess people like click on it more. So that's the entire thing. Even though maybe 1 out of 70 here, discrimination that one person is sometimes looked at the news and made an example of.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Here. Okay. Hang on. Muslims. Someone has got to take. I want someone to answer this question for us. Okay. How many of you, before you came here to Penn State, had people were thinking about and talking about Islamophobia in the United States? Oh, shit, Islamophobia. This is the U.S. Like, oh my God, this is serious. And what did people say?
I mean, people were just like, in America, they hate Muslims. Like, they have because of like the attacks and all that.
Yeah.
They were like, you just shouldn't like tell people that and all that.
So you shouldn't tell people. Wait, you shouldn't tell
that you're Islamic or anything.
Wait, can you just do me a favor? Can you just stand up? Do you mind?
Yeah, sure.
Bro, are you an international student?
I immigrated here like 3 years ago, so I have my green card.
Oh, green card. That's why you're wearing pajamas.
I'm tired.
I was going to say, if you were an international student, you wouldn't be wearing pajamas
to
class, sitting in the front row. Can you see that? Just in case your parents are watching.
They're definitely not.
They're probably not? All right, that's good, because I was going to tell them a lot of students wear pajamas to class. All right, bro, so listen, before you come here, so people are talking about how Americans hate Muslims.
Yeah.
And that you should not talk about being Muslim.
Yeah.
And because it would be dangerous for you.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the fact that there's about 70 Muslims in here? I asked them, has anybody experienced Islamophobia? Like, no one raised their hand.
I mean, I think that's great.
But what do you think about it?
It's a good thing.
Well, you
I would hope not.
No, but I mean, like what's it say about all the stories and
I mean, I feel like people are just very anti-discrimination because when it happens, it's like really bad.
Yeah.
So it's preferable to like, at least people think it's like preferable to be strongly anti-discrimination than like
for
equal
sure.
reaction.
Yeah, no, for sure. I got that. Yeah. It's interesting. I expected. Did you expect people to raise their hands, by the way?
Yeah, probably.
How many?
Like at least 10.
I thought maybe 3 or 4. Yeah. Well, we have 1. All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks. What's your name, by the way?
I'm Roman.
Roman? All right. Thanks, man.
It's 4 people with a question.
All right.
Muslim international student.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Muslim international student.
You say you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to answer the professor's question earlier. And then I think as a person who's Muslim as well, from Saudi Arabia, I don't like to put myself on the spotlight. So when you ask the question generally, I didn't raise my hand, even though that sometimes you may experience like different looks or something. Like when you're walking, talking Arabic, happened to me a few times downtown while like talking with my friends. I'd get like a look as like if someone like didn't know what I was speaking, and then they'd be just like hostile. And you can't blame that. It's like human nature. If you hear something or if you see something that's different, you wouldn't like.
But was it like a mean look or just a look?
No, it's just like a weird look. Like it made me feel uncomfortable. So I'd definitely comment about it.
Oh man, I gotta watch myself because the other day you speak Taiwanese, right?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Mandarin and Cantonese.
Mostly Mandarin and Cantonese. Are you fluent in Mandarin also?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. All right, dude. All right, so listen. The other day, because I'm always walking behind people or in front of people and they're speaking languages. So, I'm always looking at faces, but I'm always listening to what languages people are speaking. And the other day, these 2 women were behind me and they're speaking. I couldn't tell. I thought it was Portuguese, but I couldn't really tell. And so I turned around and I looked at them, and I had a weird look on my face, probably because it was a look of curiosity. And then one of them looked at me like, "Oh, what are you looking at?" And I almost stopped and said, "What language are you speaking? I'm just really curious, But then it's like there's all this stuff, and like because we live in this world where everyone's so damn sensitive about stuff, I didn't even ask because then I thought, okay, they might think you're not really curious, you're judging me, and I'm like, shit. Like the point is, I'll just ignore everybody, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's why I'm saying that. I don't know. I probably do that all the time. All right, go ahead. Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I just had a question about the sign. Have any of you ever felt that it was almost like just for show, maybe, or that they were just trying to point out that they had diversity on campus and like the campus itself, and they're using it to almost like profit off the fact that the campus is diverse? Because it's well known that it's diverse. There's people of color everywhere, people from different races, ethnicities. And do you ever feel like the sign itself is just just for show?
Do you want?
I think it is for show, but I don't know I guess it must be for profit reasons, but I think it's like some sort of advertisement that like, hey, we're a diverse campus, you can feel belonged here or something like that.
Well, here's one though. How about this? How about this as an explanation? We keep hearing Penn State leaders hear about from students, activists, about discrimination, and here's a story of discrimination, and somebody put wrote something on somebody's door, I don't know, whatever, right? But about Islamophobia, there's so much Islamophobia, but nobody came in here where there's 70 Muslim students, which is 70, that's a fair amount, right? To come in and just ask, wait, have any of you actually experienced discrimination? Like anything? It's like, oh, you haven't? Yeah, well, maybe it's really, okay. So then we don't have to put the sign up. So it's not really for show per se. It's just that people are acting on what some people are telling them they should act on. Maybe. Do you have a response to that? Is it for show? Do you?
I don't know. I think I was kind of saying the same thing earlier, that sometimes it is for show and like without like action or like, I don't know, actual representation on campus, then it doesn't really mean anything. Yeah,
it doesn't mean anything when it's just used like that. Yeah, somebody, bro. Yeah, Go ahead.
Earlier you were talking about the categories of like you could break people down into categories, or you can not talk about like diversity at all.
Yeah.
Where do you kind of draw your line in the middle? Because it's a huge gray area, and I'm sure a lot of people feel differently. How do you decide like what's the best place to be in that front?
Oh, damn, dude. I don't get paid enough to answer that question, but
what about you personally?
We're going to ask Michael here. When do you think at what point where do you draw the line for you?
Draw the line for what? Sorry.
Just when you talk, how much you want to hear these issues talked about, how much you want to be welcomed in versus how much you want to be ignored. Like for all students, right? Don't single people out. Don't single the Muslim students out. Don't single the Latinos and Latinas out. You know what I mean? Just like, but yet do something.
Can
or
I
do we
answer
do
that?
nothing?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead,
think-
Michael. I'm coming back
I'm
to
sorry.
you, though. I'm going to make you answer it. All right.
I think it's like essentially an impossible question because, to be honest, like sometimes feeling special is nice. You know what I mean? And I
Okay.
think people who come from diverse backgrounds will like kind of agree with this. Like sometimes being special is kind of cool. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like sometimes you don't want to feel special. Sometimes you just want to fit in. And so like it kind of just goes off vibes. Like I can't really, like I don't know how that would be possible. And since, you know, since there's so many people with different opinions of how they want to be treated with this, it's even more
That's right.
impossible.
Yeah, that's right. There are some people that really want to be. So Michael, in a way you were saying that, right? Even for you, like you've never been to the center and other people go to the center all the time. And so like for you, it's like, some people are really comfortable, other people are not comfortable.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's nice when people like want to celebrate who they are and like where they come from, where their like ancestry is from. So in that way, it's kind of like, I guess you can say that's like singling out kind of like other people are focusing on your culture, but that's in like a positive light.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah, that's like it's kind of cool. Like when you have like the like Saudi Day or the Kuwaiti students had a Kuwaiti Day recently, right? Didn't they? Are there any Kuwaiti students? Yeah. But whatever it is, it's just like, yeah, it's cool. It's great. It's good for me, you know. Dude, do we have a question from the stream? I think we do. I think Jeff said we did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to give another perspective for the whole sign. I feel like because we have like a diverse panelists and a lot of them said that like, I don't know, like the sign was kind of performative and it wasn't exactly like, it didn't shake them up. It didn't make them feel the sense of belonging. I feel like I agree with that as a student of color, but I just wanted to give another perspective that one sign isn't like the epitome of like DEI efforts.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that sign also goes in tandem with a lot of other things that the university does. Like I'm in Blueprint, it's a mentorship group for students of color, and it's funded by centers like the PRCC, which is kind of similar to like the Center for Sexuality and
That's the
center
Paul
as
Robeson
well.
Cultural Center.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I feel like it can seem like because our diverse panelists said that this one sign isn't really like changing their lives, it might seem in tandem with people who are anti DEI.
Yep.
But I feel like this is just a small snapshot of actual DEI efforts, and DEI includes FAFSA, it includes those centers on campus, it includes like what your teachers look like and like who's actually in your classrooms. So even like the discrimination statistic before, I feel like personally I can't always pinpoint when I've experienced discrimination like you said, but I know that like my peers have been called slurs on campus, or like they haven't felt safe on campus. Even like the other students of color that I know who are STEM majors, they never see people who look like them in their classrooms, and they don't get like the extra tutoring support that some of their peers might get. They are never like collaborated with in class. So discrimination can look like a lot of things, and oftentimes it's hard to actually pinpoint. So even though we see like these signs and we see some stats that make it seem like these experiences are kind of like null, like oppression can take a lot of forms. So I just wanted to add that.
No, I think that's really good. And so it becomes in some space. First off, what you're saying is this is just one tiny piece of it, right? For example, belonging. First off, putting a sign up and say this is belonging is not belonging. Belonging is really going to happen because of so many different things that all come together. And in some spaces, it matters much more than the other. Like then last week when we had the conversation about gender in STEM and engineering is very different than gender in sociology, for example, right? If you're a woman, how you experience that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Wait. Go ahead. Wait, hang on. Can I just take the one up here? Axel in Germany says, do campaigns like these make money? Wonder if it would be worth the budget to invest in real cultural and sport action application. Well, the problem is, so Axel, the problem is that the campaigns like this don't cost much at all. So, people who are against them might say, oh, you're wasting your money. We're not really wasting our money. That didn't cost anything to put that graphic together and to do these kinds of things. It costs a lot of money doing what the young woman who just spoke is asking for, which is like I was saying, like that's when you really put a serious effort into these kinds of things to make people welcome. So, yeah. Okay, final question.
This is something of a counterpoint. I think when you distribute a broad cultural narrative that like white people are super racist, it's really easy to attribute negative interactions to that racism without it actually being the real reason. Like if I think this applies also like to dating. A lot of times short guys have this idea that like, oh, I'll never get a girlfriend because I'm short, and then like you look at their lies and they're like, being short is not why you don't have a girlfriend, or something like that. Like there are many like instances of this. Like if you constantly tell someone, oh, you're gonna have a brutal time in life, you're gonna be discriminated against, everyone's gonna hate you. It's like very easy.
Well, this is another side to it, right? So it would become what I said about when I was walking down the street the other day and I heard people speaking what I thought was Portuguese. By the way, all the short guys in class are all going like, shit, I got to check my personality.
There's hope. Man. There's hope.
Yeah. There's hope for you. Just get some therapy and change your ways. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear that. All right. Hey, listen, can we have a round of applause? Thank you all. Nice job. Dude, nice job. Thank you. Okay, you all. By the way, so people know. Wait, hang on one second. Wait, do you recommend visiting Hong Kong?
Yes, definitely go to Hong Kong.
Why?
The food. Also, you can, like, there's so much to do. You can, there's, like, outdoors that's, like, 30 minutes away from the city. And, like, I think that's crazy. I'm, like, an outdoors guy, so I really like doing that kind of stuff. And, like, to be able to take a bus and go on a 3-day camping trip or something is just unheard of.
Dude,
you know
all
what I
right.
mean?
All right, man. Okay, go ahead, yeah. Okay, you all have a... Oh, wait, is this Thon weekend? Yo, wait, hang on before you leave. Is anybody dancing in Thon? Who's dancing? Yo, can we just do a round of applause to the dancers, man? Dude, you got this, man, all right?
Please be safe this weekend.
Yeah.
It is snowy outside. Don't slip and fall. No one's going to help you, I promise that.